Another really nice conditional formatting option is working with what's called top-bottom rules. So top 10 items percent, bottom 10%, above average or below average. So when you're working through a good set of information, I think what we'll do here is we'll grab this area right here. There we go. Do conditional formatting, top, bottom. Top 10 items. We'll just stay with the red text here. There we go. And so what it's showing me is that these were the top 10. Now, what does it mean, top 10? Well, in cost, so as you know, these are 100, 760, well, 850 is higher, 880. So looks like the highest is about 950 on the left here, and then 949. Now, if you'll notice, it's not looking to do top 10 in this row and then top 10 in, I'm sorry, this column and then this column. It has the top 10 of everything that you selected. Okay, so you may not want to do it on multiples, but you can. It's just be aware of that from entire sheet. Okay, so typically what you do is you do look at it individually. So if I look at this group here, we'll do actual cost and do top bottom, the top 10 items, click OK. Then it shows me the top 10 for that particular column, which is typically what you do. But, you know, it depends how you've laid out your information and what's important for you to see. Okay. Now let me take this one. There we go. And this is the difference between budget and actual cost. And we're going to try the next one, which is the top 10%. And we're going to fill that with green and then click OK. There we go. Okay. Now it's 10%, not 10 items. Okay. So basically it looks at how many items there are, and then it looks at the top 10% of those. And it was definitely these two. These were way cheaper. Okay, so budget, it was 660, it was only 200. So this is in the good direction. Okay, so it's showing me the top 10% of the difference in this particular column. Okay, all right, so let's try budgeted costs. Let's do that. And then when you go to conditional formatting, top bottom, the bottom 10 items, bottom 10% is available. So I do bottom 10, and we'll make these yellow. Click OK. And there they are. These are the bottom 10 items. So in this case, that would mean the cheapest ones, the cheapest budgeted costs. And the only thing that matches up to the top 10 here is the coach, clinic, and travel. So we budgeted that. That's one of the top 10 or bottom ones that we did, and it ended up being one of the top 10 in actual cost. So there's a variance for you. Okay, so we've got all those in there. I'm going to clear the formats just to do it again, do the entire sheet so that I don't have to select it. Okay, and the next one we're going to do is the bottom 10%. So let's go ahead and do the difference column on that. Additional format, bottom 10%, do red. Okay, so anything negative will probably be in there, and those were the highest negative ones, negative 80 and a negative 200, which means we spent more than we had budgeted, and that would be the bottom side of that. Okay, so now let's do this, actual costs. There we go. Conditional format, top bottom rules, above average for the selected range, and let's make it green. Click OK. All right. So it looked at all of this data, you know, from row 4 to row 31, so that's probably 27 cells. It averaged them, it looked at all of them, averaged them up, and then it's telling you, based on our formatting here, that this is above the average of what was spent. So whatever that average is, it looks like it's a little bit above 569. I don't see anything lower than that here. So we have a big variance. I mean, you have $85 and as high as a little over $875. Yep. So it's looking at, remember, the above average ones. So now let's do below average. Let's do it on this column. Top bottom rules, below average, and we'll go ahead and do that. So below the average, it's the opposite direction. So interesting, it's pretty close to what we had here, but it is a different set of numbers. So it doesn't have to exactly be the opposite of this because they're different sets. So a really quick way to point information out, give you the ability in top and bottom for items, number of items, percent of items, and then above or below the averages. It's really good. It's a great way to understand your data or get a different perspective on if things are at a certain level within that data.